Hi, Zan. My name is Stephanie, and I have 5 kids under the age of 7. I'm wondering how you balance teaching to every kid's specific learning style while still keeping a family-centered homeschool style. Thanks so much.
That is a great question. And I think it's amazing that you have 5 children under 7. The Lord has greatly blessed you. And speaking of a busy life, you have a busy life. The first thing I would say, with the oldest being 7, is you may be seeing part of his learning styles come out. I mean, I knew from the time Ty was 6 or 7 years old, our oldest son, that he was an auditory kinesthetic learner. He learned by talking and moving, and neither one of those would have been acceptable behaviors in a classroom. And so you may have some really strong senses of what his learning style is going to be. I would say, with having that many littles, that just shouldn't be a concern about the other children, because most of them are not going to be school age. And Nancy made the point when we were talking through this question that keeping your home family centered with that many littles is more important probably than paying attention to their learning styles. Some easy things you can do, like I know that with our oldest being auditory kinesthetic, and then we had 2 other kids that were much more, they could sit down and focus on work. It's not that they were smarter or had a greater concentration span. They just had a different way of handling schoolwork. So I would say, probably right now, you having a break during the day and just trying to keep the children together, and having a little bit of time every day to work with the 7-year-old. I think that's probably going to keep you very busy. Nancy, you may have some other thoughts on that.
Well, that's so good. Well, I think when you think about your homeschool, now my kids were close together, and I realized I only had 2, but we did everything together. Like, they had their own level of math and grammar and spelling, I think, but everything else we did together. But think about the things that you're doing in your family-centered homeschool. Try to make it really hands-on, and so you're reading books aloud and everybody's involved. Even if the little ones are just listening, they're learning. But when you incorporate all of the learning styles, when you have things that they're listening to and that they're talking about and that they're building with their hands and that there's movement involved, you want to touch on not just the learning style that they're strongest in. That's a great way to connect with them. They're going to learn best a certain way, but they also need to be exposed to learning in those other learning styles, because that will strengthen those areas where they're not as strong in. And so I just think, focus on making learning fun in your home, and you will hit all of the learning styles. I don't think you need to hone in, especially when they're young, like Zan said, on each individual one and their particular bent, because there's so much that you can do together and incorporate all of the learning styles.